Before Alicia could respond, Eddy was left in the wake of a sonic boom. Before him, Malikite stood unobstructed. Off in the distance, a huge explosion marked the location of Alicia. The ground trembled, and the air roared with demonic presence as evident. Eddy broke eye contact with Malikite to see his daughter, still resting peacefully with her sword in her hands. Another bright flash followed by more explosion. Eddy tried to follow the conflict to assess the pandemonium, but was unable to do so. Behind him, a huge amount of pressure built up instantly. The presence of Master Alicia could be known by Eddy. Heightened senses, cloaked in dragon feathers, bothers, armor, and wielding a fan blade of exquisite craftsmanship. Master Alicia overflowed with raw power. The carnage around Eddy was too fast to track his reaction time, was sluggish in comparison. Alicia was engaging an enemy of unsurpassed skill and power. But who? Before him, the ground erupted. Alicia, by her throat, slammed Kiara onto the soft soil before Eddy's feet in an instant. Seven dragon feather daggers surgically stabbed into presence points into Kiara Mare's body, and without hesitation, the shattered remains of Notice was ripped from Eddy's hands and thrusted into Kiara's chest by her own maternal parent. There was no time for Alicia to think or second guess, yet the present was the time for regret and mourning as tears run down the master's face as she looked into the lifeless eyes of her demonic daughter. Kiara lies before Eddy, a broken shell crushed by the Galactic Grand Master. Malikite stood still behind the Grand Master, his armor still polished and shining in the Bosca sun. Disbelief was the only thing Eddy could feel. His wife and his daughter were both dead before him, and it hurt him, and it hurt in a way that physical combat simply did not compare. Kiara began to spit up blood as her body begins to move. More demonic laughter. Yes, she will do. Kiara spoke, grinning wide. A look of shock flowed over Alicia's face. You again, child. Kiara spoke with a demonic tone, addressing Master Alicia. The wounds of Kiara's body began to heal, pushing the dagger out of her body. I told you that without your husband you cannot defeat me. Frozen in shock, Eddy stood by as Alicia threw several earth-shattering blows. But all were deflected this time by Kiara. A final blow caught and held onto Alicia's wrist. With bone-crushing force, but Alicia did not cry out. She began to assault her daughter with her free hand. None of her attacks landing any blows. Kiara deflected a final attack which knocked Alicia off guard. Then Kiara hit her mother with a destructive wind elemental attack in the form of a blown kiss, which struck Alicia in her shoulder, causing her body to go limp. Pain shot through her, lowering her guard in the process. Right before a final blow could be thrown by Kiara, she lost her grip on her mother's wrist. Mom, run! Kiara spoke in her natural tone, all traces of demonic presence gone within that instant. What are you doing? Kiara questioned. No, stop. Kiara's words were schizophrenia as her hands moved to her own neck. Alicia and Eddy both watched in horror as the pressure built and the flesh tore and her bones shattered, causing her entire body to go limp. Eddy, Kiara spoke, eyes full of tears. Do you have notice? You must hurry. I can feel my neck healing. You have to stop this. I can't. The sword is broken. I told you we should have never left one back at the village of Lynn. How is Kwajalynn? Kiara asked calmly as if her world was not ending. She is fine, my love. There was time to use the sword before it was broken. Then you will have to destroy me, my love. But I can't, Eddy responded. Then I will, Alicia shouted. You can't, mother. Only Eddy can destroy me. Destroy you? I won't kill my own wife. Eddy, Azure Mare is immortal, and I will be a prisoner in my own body. That will be my fate. And when you die, and our children die, I won't be on the other side. Instead, I will be trapped here for all eternity. That is a fate worse than death. But the dagger is broken, and there's no time to retrieve the other one. Then you're going to have to kill us both, or I will kill you after I become fully possessed by Azure Mare, Alicia finished. A single hand caresses his wife's face gently. Eddy reached down to lift his paralyzed wife's limp body. Slowly, his energy level rose. Taking the broken dagger out of her chest, Eddy spoke to Alicia standing before her. Make sure you give that broken blade to Kwajalynn, and tell her to go retrieve the other blade from her birth village. She knows where it's located. With nothing to say, Alicia ripped the dagger out of her child's chest. She stood knowing she was powerless to prevent death of her own child and the guilt of knowing that she alone was responsible for her daughter's cursed destiny. Slow at first, Eddy begins to float up into the sky, then breach the atmosphere of BSK Prime. Only after an extended period spent in the void of space did Eddy begin to power up to destroy himself, ending his life as well as the life of his wife. Preventing the return of Azure Mare, the sky above rumbled and gray clouds accumulated at an unnatural accelerate rate. Lightning flashed and thunder rippled through the atmosphere. Alicia's composure was calm and silent. She just witnessed the death of her daughter for the second time, sacrificed with her husband to save her mortal soul from an eternity of suffering. This understanding fueled the eccentric weather on Bosca Prime. As a special talent, Grand Master Alicia possessed the ability to influence global climate and weather by her will alone. It is an ability that she has possessed for as long as she has lived, so natural that the very planets were instead weeping for her. As the Grand Master of Wind contemplated, it took on the form of a torrential downpour which soaks everyone and everything, turning the soft, fertile soil, muddy, huge pools of water coalesced everywhere, motivating Alicia to assist in retrieving Kwajalynn from one such large pool of water. Moving quietly across the dormant landscape to where her resting granddaughter lay, being closely eyed by Malikite, Alicia assesses the full extent of Kwajalynn's recovery, getting a feel of the damage done to her body.